Hi everyone. It is about 5:30 on Thursday. This is my video diary entry for yesterday, for Wednesday, my last day in Nagasaki. I woke up and decided to go to a number of places in Nagasaki that weren't necessarily part of, for lack of better words, the A-bomb trail. So the day before, I did a lot of the sites near the Nagasaki Peace Park, in the museum and all that, which I spoke to before. Now, and I decided to go to an area called the Dutch Slopes, as well as Glover's Garden, which is where the merchants and traders from Europe stayed while they were in Japan, and particularly Nagasaki, which was a big trading port. So it was very interesting. I mean, I'm not going to talk a hell of a lot about it. I think the most interesting components to it were a that you had these very traditional European houses from minus the roof. The traditional shutters, the porch with the columns. I mean, very abnormal to see that in Japan. But then you would have a variation of the traditional Japanese roofing. So I thought that was pretty interesting. I think you'll see in the pictures what I'm talking about. I met my first American on the trip, Japanese woman, or Japanese American, with her mother, was visiting, and so we chatted for about 25 minutes on the downslope of the Dutch slopes, and so that was pretty cool. Very nice woman. Her mother was really gracious as well, and actually gave me some good pointers about when I go to Tokyo, because she's from Tokyo. From there, I decided to. I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, so for lunch, I went and had sour udon, which is another Nagasaki local specialty, which is the same thing as champon, only the noodles are stir fried instead. And the place I went to claims, and I guess Nagasaki, the community accepts that they invented champon. But I went there to have their sour udon because it had gotten good reviews for it. I had it, and I was actually surprised. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I like champur a lot better. So I did that. Got some nice views in Nagasaki. Went to the top of the hill that overlooked the southern side of Nagasaki. Got some great footage. Got some great pictures, and that was really nice. Um, and yeah, for breakfast I went to like a place called Dotour, and I guess it's a chain beyond just Japan. It's in a number of different countries. I never heard of it, but it's like a bistro. Um, I did a little more walking around, and then went back to the hotel at like 3:30ish. Crashed for about an hour and a half, and then I went out to dinner and had another local specialty called what is it called now? I can tell you what's in it. It's the turcoso rice. It's basically, they call it Turkish rice, and it's rice, curry, fried pork cutlet, and spaghetti. Believe it or not, really interesting. I mean, kind of represents why Nagasaki is what it is, because it's been in the crosshairs of all these different cultures coming together. So the meal kind of is the exact same way, and it was pretty good. I actually really enjoyed it. And then I decided for the first night to actually go quote unquote out in the town, meaning I wanted to go beyond, like I usually went home after dinner, and to save money or whatever. And so last night I decided to go out in Nagasaki because I really enjoyed the town. I thought the people were really warm, so I figured it'd be the same way at bars and whatnot. So I went to a wine bar. Found out that the Japanese eat dinner between 6:30 and 8 and don't really go out until 9ish. I didn't know that, so I was in the wine bar by myself and with a woman who was working there, and we actually had a nice conversation for probably a good hour and a half. And the owner came in and was a really nice woman, had never left Japan. She really likes wine. I mean, yeah, she's a very nice woman. Very limited English, but She was really helpful in kind of telling me about karaoke and sort of what she thinks about different stuff in Nagasaki, and she thinks her husband drinks too much, because apparently that's a big theme that all Japanese husbands drink a lot, which is not surprising given that later in the evening, as I was walking around the Center Entertainment District for Nagasaki, there were just drunk businessmen all over the place. So I went from the wine bar, had some decent wine there, and then I went to this bar called Ken $. So it's a bar run by an American guy who went to Harvard in '94, got a graduate degree in philosophy, came over to Japan on a whim, and has been here ever since, and started this bar about 6 years ago. It's a very dingy bar, but it's a favorite amongst a lot of locals, and as well as some expats who were there. And so I was there for about a couple hours, having some drinks with a bunch of people there, Japanese, Americans. There was an Aussie there who I really enjoyed. So it was a lot of fun. I had a really good time. Came back, Skyped with Amy, and then I went to bed and to get ready for my early morning travels here to Hiroshima. So that was yesterday. I want to take the opportunity now, because it's now dusk. I'm in the Peace Park right now. And so I thought it would be pretty cool for you guys to see what this looks like at night, because it's really interesting. And Mom, you probably remember seeing this when you were here, about 15 years ago, but I wanted to show you guys anyways. So this is the park, sort of from the outside. I'm just gonna gather my things here, so pardon me for a second. So it just, I went to the museum today, and I'll talk about this more tomorrow when I do my video entry for tomorrow. But this is the center of the Peace Park. That is the Peace Museum. So that's the museum about the Hiroshima bomb. And as I move over here, I'm gonna get to that. So that is called a centograph, and and you're about to see a pretty amazing view once I get to it. Inside the centograph is a stone that has inscripted all of the Japanese in Hiroshima who died from the A-bomb. And it houses, when you look at it, the flame that is kept going. It's kept going until all the nuclear weapons are eradicated. So here's an image of that. So that is the centograph. I haven't been this close yet because there have been a bunch of tour groups here. But that's inside there is engraved, all of them. The flame, which is right there, is kept alit until every nuclear weapon is eradicated. And then in the back there, you can see. Let me highlight that's the atomic dome. And so the atomic dome was a building that miraculously survived the bomb, and the epicenter of the bomb was about less than half a kilometer from here, and basically every other bomb was leveled. This park used to be the most vibrant district in Nagasaki, and of course now it's a park because everything got leveled. So that's the remains of the bomb, of the building, and I'm gonna show you guys pictures where what that looks like during the daytime. But you can see now it's lit up. It's pretty, and you can see here was purposely this whole thing was purposely designed so that it all lines up to face the building. It's to serve as a reminder. And so it's the same thing with this pathway here, which leads directly to the centograph. So Hiroshima, otherwise, it's a pretty beautiful city. The park is on an island, so to speak, where it's surrounded by two by 2 rivers, and it's pretty. There's a lot of stuff happening here, so I think I should have a lot to report for tomorrow. I checked in, and everything's good. So good talking to you, and I will be back tomorrow. All right.